Hey guys, what is going on? So I just wanted to hop on here and show the results of my body scan that I did today and kind of compare that to where I was at in my previous bulk. And considering I got a new all-time high for my lean body mass score, I thought it would be a pretty good comparison. So I'm just going to throw up on the screen here. This is January 31st, which is, kind of what I consider to be my peak. It actually was the highest lean body mass I'd ever had. And then today I just surpassed that by about half a pound at a lighter body weight and obviously a lower body fat percentage as well. So I wouldn't read too much into that half pound. I'm not trying to say that I'm like gaining muscle like crazy or anything like that. That's not the point of this. It's just that now that I'm kind of surpassing that old all-time score for my lean body mass, I'm venturing into some uncharted territories, and considering I am only 223 as of today, I still have a lot of room to run in terms of being in a surplus. The reason I decided to do this scan today, and I will go over some specific measurements in a second, but the reason I decided to do this was because up to this point in the bulk, I've had a very hard time gaining weight. I've actually been eating. It initially started as a very clean kind of bulk, and I was adding on, a little bit of water weight and stuff like that as I started, to be expected. And I was just kind of plateauing at around 220. And over the past couple of weeks or so, I've been eating a lot more junk food, and I've still been trying to, hit my protein, hit my micronutrients. I'm doing kind of a little bit of the vertical diet, but kind of my own thing as well. Just trying to get, proper food and everything like that, but also very willing to eat a little bit more in terms of calorically dense food. There are a couple differences between this bulk and last bulk, why I need to resort to those foods, and I will talk about that right now. And that is, one, I'm currently working, whereas during my last bulk, I wasn't. So the last bulk, I was in lockdown. I couldn't even go to gyms for a good portion of it, and that was kind of one of the things that derailed my bulk, was because once I went back to work, I didn't really know how to structure my life because it was such a kind of new concept, because I was bulking and I was basically dedicating my day around that, eating my food, taking my Ecdysterone, doing all that. Whereas this time around, obviously I'm going to work most days of the week. And so that kind of makes me need to eat some meals that are a little bit more calorically dense than they would be in the past. So that's kind of a factor. Obviously, I'm burning calories when I'm at work. I work at a restaurant, so I'm like running around all the time. So I'm probably burning more calories than I was back then, and thus I need to eat more food. So that is another factor. Obviously, another difference is kind of the main X factor that I'm trying to control for is I'm bulking on Ecdysterone now, whereas I was bulking on Ecdysterone before. The differences between those two remains to be seen, but obviously that's kind of what I'm trying to test for. And I've added a couple supplements in terms of Gorilla Mind supplements. One which I'm going to be taking out and one which I'm going to be leaving in. So the one I'm taking out is going to be the Gorilla Mode AR, and that is just L-carnitine for those who are not familiar with that. This is something that aids in fat loss and androgen receptor density. That's kind of, the latter was what I was more focused on when I was currently taking it over the past month or so. And I don't know for sure, but it seems like it has been one of the things that people kind of attribute it to if they're on a bulk, is it allows them to grow without putting on as much fat, right? I mean, that's kind of the goal, is to grow leaner than you would if you weren't taking it. And considering I'm having trouble gaining weight currently, I'm going to pull that away. So it seems to be doing the job. Obviously, I can't fully say that that is the reason, but considering other people have said that it helps them stay lean in their bulk, I'm going to take it away for now. If I feel like I'm getting too fat, I'll probably add it back on. But for the time being, I'm just going to pull it away. Another one of the supplements that I think could potentially be aiding me in not gaining fat, which is not necessarily my goal, but I obviously don't want to like spill over and gain a lot of fat on this bulk, is the cortisol blocker. So this is something that I actually talked about. I took a cortisol blocker from another company, and that one was more potent in terms of it had a higher amount of bioperin in it, which made it, absorb a little bit better, and therefore it left my stomach not feeling very well. So I would take that, but I, didn't really stick to it all that well, whereas this is my first time actually consistently using the cortisol blocker, which is from Gorilla Mind, and I've been using that most days, not every day. I'm not really sure how you're supposed to use it in terms of like every day, every other day, but I've just been doing it whenever I remember. I'll take it like towards the end of the day at night when I need to relax. And one of the benefits, obviously, of lowering cortisol is, stubborn body fat. It can accumulate if you have high stress levels. And I'm not saying that's the case for me, but I do like to take that cortisol blocker. It really helps with my sleep. And it could potentially be preventing me from gaining extra weight. And while I do want to gain weight, I want it to be good weight. And I also want that added benefit of getting the better sleep. So obviously, staying lean with the Gorilla Mode AR would be beneficial as well, but considering both of those stacked on top of each other have kind of made me plateau a little bit in terms of my weight gain, I'd be willing to add a little bit more fat, and therefore I'm pulling the Gorilla Mode AR. But obviously, I would say for most people who are bulking, that's probably a desired result. But as of now, considering I'm not really gaining weight at the rate that I would want, I'm going to pull that away. The cortisol blocker, I'm a huge fan of. It's one of my favorite products. It's actually not in stock, I don't believe, but I think the Gorilla Mode AR is, if you guys want to pick that up. But anyway, those are my numbers in terms of, body fat, fat mass, lean mass, all that good stuff. One thing that is interesting here is, so I don't actually have the screenshot on here, but my shoulders are actually back to where they were prior to the, so when I cut, I basically had a period where I was benching a lot. This was really tough on my shoulders. And so for the first month of the bulk, I couldn't really hit my shoulders how I wanted to. And my shoulders were lagging behind everything else. And to some extent, my chest was as well, because I wasn't benching, I wasn't doing anything for shoulders. So over the past month, I've been able to build up my shoulders to a greater degree. They have increased, but notably my legs are still lagging behind. And if you guys remember back when I injured myself back in whenever it was January, I had a back injury, but I also had a leg injury, and those combined basically shriveled up my legs to a significant degree. And I still don't think that I am at the level that I was back then prior to those injuries. And that's why I'm pretty excited, considering my shoulders have improved, my chest has improved. Everything seems to be getting bigger, but my legs are still kind of catching up. So that's really kind of one of my things that I'm emphasizing here as of now, is building my legs back up. I'm not really doing heavy compounds other than squats. I feel like squats are the one thing that I kind of missed out on over the past several months, whereas obviously I did a lot of bench press and everything, so I don't think I really need to catch up on that. And I'm not looking to hit a PR anytime soon. I'm just trying to gain some muscle. So I'm not really going super heavy on anything chest related, shoulder related, but I am doing heavier squats, or at least just like high rep heavy stuff. And then I'm kind of saving some low rep work for later in the bulk. And I will, hopefully hit some squat PRs. I think this is the strongest my legs have ever been, but they're still kind of getting back to the size that they were back in January. So things are going good. Obviously, new all-time in terms of lean body mass. That's good to see. Trying to build my legs back up. I think my back has improved so far in this bulk. Shoulders are coming back. So like I said, uncharted territory now. And I'm looking to add quite a bit of weight from here. Hopefully pulling that Gorilla Mode AR might help in that. Obviously, I don't want to put on an excessive amount of fat, but considering I'm still at a relatively low body fat percentage, I'm willing to take it. So anyway, that's all I got to say about that. I'll keep you updated, and I'll talk to you soon.